What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Rich Reacts, and I'm back with another reaction video. Hey, we got something light for your boys. Things you didn't know. Oh shit. Let's get into it, bro. Y'all boys sub. We at 15. Let's get to 20, bro. Let's get to 20. Let's get it. Turn this shit down.
These are the things you didn't know about. Let's go.
Welcome.
Today's really tall buildings are built to show off wealth and stuff like that. And simple high-rise buildings have become something commonplace. Like in Japan. Here, builders face an obvious problem. It's not enough to create a tall building. You also need to make it strong and stable enough for a skyscraper to survive an earthquake. Tall buildings are designed so that they don't collapse from earthquakes, and the result is
I couldn't live in a tall building, I'm sorry. If anything, I'm gonna be at the first floor, I promise you.
Huge buildings that sway from side to side as if they were made from rubber. But the amazing thing is, none of this harms them in any way.
Is that right?
Feels good to rub your eyes. Don't even try to deny it. Everyone has done it at least once for a little longer than it takes.
When it's
but have
itching.
you ever wondered what such an action looks like from the inside? A little intimidating, to be honest. By the way, rubbing stimulates the production of tear fluid, which makes irritated or tired eyes moisturized. Of course, it's a pleasure. In addition, eye rubbing causes your heart rate to slow down and your stress level to decrease. It's this mechanism that calms us when we rub our eyes.
Shit,
Everyone.
I'm gonna react to a honey ad starring Mr. Beast and his mom.
Wait, Mom, before you check out,
Everyone has probably seen how car crash tests are conducted. Everybody's seen how all sorts of safety systems are tested too. What about dogs? Well, for a long time, no one thought at all about the fact that they too need protection in case of accidents. But for a few years now, various companies have been conducting tests similar to human tests, only for dogs. And it looks, well, it's pretty funny. A crash test for a plush toy. And it's probably driven by a teddy bear. Okay, it's actually a very important thing. How about this? A blue volcano. Of course, the volcano itself isn't blue, and it looks like the most ordinary mountain in Indonesia. But it's unique in that it hides a kilometer-wide turquoise-colored acidic crater layer and emissions of hydrogen sulfide. The gas is so hot that its temperature reaches 1,112 degrees Fahrenheit. It ignites blue and turns into a unique natural phenomenon. But the glow is weak, so the flame can only be seen at night, although sometimes it reaches 5 meters. This is the largest area of blue flame in the world. Well, and a stunningly beautiful thing, of course. When you look at a high voltage power line, this huge tower standing in the middle of some field or forest, it seems as if it's always been there. But power lines don't grow out of the ground like mushrooms, do they? Of course not. They're assembled right on the spot. And damn it, it's the coolest construction I've ever seen.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that happened.
Few people know this, but all you need is a frozen lake and a rock to create the sound of Imperial stormtroopers firing.
Let me see. I've actually done that before.
Whoa. If you're about to run to the nearest lake with a heavy brick, wait a minute. In fact, several other factors should coincide. Sliding rocks across a frozen lake doesn't necessarily produce those sounds for several reasons. The lake has to only be partially solid because both the vibrations of frozen and unfrozen water are necessary. The height above sea level also plays a role. Also, different ice makes different sounds. The cleaner it is, the higher it sings. And yes, bricks are unlikely to work. Try something smaller. For insectophobes, people who are terrified of insects, this place will seem like hell. But most people on Earth treat butterflies well. So welcome to the Monarch Butterfly Biosphere Reserve. This is an area in the Mexican state of Michoacan, and partly in the state of Mexico City, covering an area of 56,259 hectares. The park contains 8 colonies of this butterfly every year from November to March. Up to 1 billion individuals winter here. The monarchs make a regular migration, traveling more than 4,000 kilometers, crossing the border between the United States and Mexico, and end up in the reserve. These butterflies gather in colonies and settle on pine trees. In most cases, there are so many that the trees turn orange and the branches sag under their weight. It's an absolutely unique situation and a very, very exciting sight. Evolution has made us into some pretty funny creatures with unnecessary organs, unusual abilities, and sometimes frightening details. Take, for example, the fimbriated folds, the area of mucous membrane on the lower part of the tongue that run on either side of the frenum. This is simply residual tissue that the body forgot when it formed the tongue. Chances are you don't even notice it, unless you're one of the small percentage of people whose fimbriated folds look like tentacles. Oh, that's disgusting.
Mine ain't looking
But also
like
it's
that.
quite normal. No disease
That
or
ain't normal.
abnormality, just the human body. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
What do you do when it snows so much that it covers all the roads and paralyzes traffic? Build snow walls like Game of Thrones, or like in Japan, of course. Or rather, cut through an entire snow corridor
tight
and do it in
squeeze,
such a way
too,
that it
but-
coincides with the road. It seems like the first time something like this was done was back in the 70s. But what used to be a necessity
could've gave a
today
bigger
has
rope.
become a magnet for tourists.
What if that motherfucker just start falling?
You bet. It's a huge snow wall, almost 800 inches high.
don't think
Who
it
would
will.
want to check
That's a
this
lot,
out?
bro.
By the way, thanks to the development of technology, road clearing time is about a week, and there are installed sensors in the walls, and they record the strength of the snow and the seismic situation on the site. A really useful
for
thing,
sure.
considering how often Japan has earthquakes.
Bro, just answering all my
Okay,
questions.
to be
huh?
honest, I'm not really good at herding sheep. I mean, after all, I'm not a dog. And they, by the way, not only know how to herd
be
sheep in
running
the
on
right
there.
direction and protect them from predators, but they also invented sheep surfing. What else would you call these runs on furry backs? And I don't know what's more surprising, the fact that dogs keep their balance when everything beneath them is bleeding and swaying, or the fact that the sheep don't care at all what's going on up there. Most people have an idea of
Can't
what a
be on the
ship
ocean like
caught
that,
in a
nope.
big storm looks like. There are
Nope.
movies and cartoons and all sorts
Oh.
of pictures. However, there is one but. Most often, ships are depicted
But?
on the outside. But what happens inside the ship is left out of the picture. Well, that's a shame. Look at it. It immediately
What is
becomes
that?
clear why furniture and other important items on ships need to be firmly fixed so they don't fly back and forth during a storm.
Oh. Fuck you at. Amazing guy, man. Don't make sense.
And yes, I hope you don't get seasick, because these shots could make you seasick even if you're standing firmly on the ground right now. In the mid-2000s, a presidential park opened in the U.S. state of Virginia, and
Mount
it
Rush?
looked, to
No.
put it mildly, a little strange.
the hell?
Under the open sky, there were 42 busts of the U.S. presidents. The statues, almost 6 meters tall, were supposed to teach students the history and art of sculpture, and residents from neighboring states would come to see the park and take a walk in
I
it.
didn't know
In
that.
reality, the statues have taught only
Oh,
how
they're
to
small?
spend a lot of money for nothing. In 2010, due to a lack of visitors, the park closed,
A
and
lack
the
of
busts had to be
visitors.
destroyed.
Ew.
But one of the creators, Howard Hankins, just couldn't do it. Instead, he bought the statues and moved them to his private property. And for several years now, the presidents have stood in the middle of a field. The paint's gradually peeling off, and pieces are falling off too. Some have already lost the backs of their heads. Some have lost their noses. It's a sad sight. Today, in order to wake up at the right time, it's enough to ask a voice assistant or set the alarm with a couple of taps on a smartphone screen.
For sure.
What did people do before? No, even before there were alarm clocks in every home. The option with roosters wasn't suitable for cities, and then the profession of a knocker-up was invented. It emerged during the Industrial Revolution in England and Ireland and existed until the 1920s. They used batons, sticks, and canes, which were used to knock on the doors of customers who lived on the first floor, or long and light sticks to reach the windows of the upper floors. Sometimes a blowpipe was used to shoot peas at a window. The knocker-upper received a few pence a week for their work. You have to admit, it's quite difficult to sleep in such conditions. You can hardly turn off a person with a cane. When you live outdoors, some wild animal might well sneak in unnoticed for breakfast. Of course,
Yeah.
there's nothing strange. Possums, squirrels,
What is that?
raccoons, and other little animals have long been perceived as somewhat normal.
gonna burn your lip, boy.
Giraffes.
I
Wait,
told you.
what? Giraffes? Yeah, you got it right. Giraffes peeking through the window is a traditional sight at the Giraffe Manor Boutique Hotel in Kenya. The animals come to the mansion in the morning and sometimes
bro
in the
just ate
evening,
all his
poke their heads
food.
through the windows and wait for a treat. The guests are given special bags with food, and giraffes can lick someone as a thank you. Nearby are warthogs,
Bro.
antelopes, hyenas, and almost
Nigga took his
200
whole
species of
plate.
birds. Fortunately, not all of them come for breakfast. I mean, who'd want to share a meal with another Pumbaa? Black hens have been artificially bred for centuries. They were
Ain't no
first
way.
described by Dutch colonial settlers. Surely the poor souls were shocked by
Little
such
black
exoticism, and we can understand them. The birds have black plumage
that
with
a rooster?
green tint, black paws, claws, beak,
that a
tongue,
chicken or a
skin,
rooster?
comb and beard, eyeballs, meat, bones, and internal organs. Only the blood is red,
That's a rooster.
but still darker than normal chickens have. This breed is so unique that in Indonesia alone, one individual costs about $200. In other countries, the cost can go up to several
For a
thousand.
rooster?
Bartosz Ostalowski, a Pole, is the only professional car racer in the world without arms.
Oh, that nigga be whipping. Ow, if y'all lose to this, man.
Grammarly can help you write quickly.
Bro is
and
really
confidently,
whipping with
so
his
you never have
toes.
to slow down at work.
Ain't no way. Let me see,
He
bro.
lost both of his limbs in a motorcycle accident
He's
at the
still
age of
whipping
20.
that
And you
mug.
have to admit, anybody would be disappointed in life after that and give up their dreams forever. But Bartosz turned out to be a pretty stubborn guy. After 3 years of hard work, he became the first ever amputee without arms to get a professional racing license. He shifts gears with his shoulder
Look at
and drives
that.
the car with his feet. Watching Bartosz drifting is both terrifying and mesmerizing at the same time. And in his
Man.
spare time, this incredible man paints pictures. Yes, with his feet too. Because for Bartosz, nothing seems to be
Inspirational.
impossible at all. People just love to put things in the wrong places. No, I'm
What do you
not
mean?
talking about what you're thinking. Come on, there are
Plants?
children watching. Actually, this is about Nemo's Garden underwater farm. The farm consists of 6 air-filled plastic containers attached to
For
the
what?
bottom of the sea with ropes, chains, and weights. The containers maintain the necessary microclimate all at the bottom of the sea near
What's
the
the point?
Italian town of Noli. Nemo's Garden has already managed to grow strawberries, herbs, garlic, and beans.
You can
From
grow
time
fruit
to time,
on
storms
land.
damage and even destroy the farm, but the owners rebuild everything, all to learn how to grow food in regions where it's not possible because of the climate. Yeah, also because underwater beans are fun. If you think New Zealand is mostly famous for Lord of the Rings, then, well, I mean, yeah, mostly it is. But there are plenty of amazing things to see here. For example, the Firefly Cave. Its vault is covered by thousands of mushroom mosquitoes, creating the
Mushroom
impression
mosquitoes.
of looking at the starry sky. The larvae of these
Mushroom
insects
mosquito.
make threads with drops of sticky liquid and attach them to the
me
vault of
see
the
this
cave,
mushroom
then
mosquito.
light up, thus attracting smaller insects which they eat and tourists who come to admire them. The thing is not to mix them up. To make wooden furniture,
19.
you have to cut down a tree, cut out its parts, connect them to each other, or just grow a tree
Well,
in the
that gonna
shape of a
break
chair.
right when you
That's
sit on it,
exactly
cut.
what an artist and designer named Gavin Monroe, who founded Full Grown, is doing and has begun to subdue nature. A bush in the shape of a chair? Why not? All you have to do is get the
Oh, no.
plant moving in the right direction, and in a few years, it'll be just what you need. A chair, a lamp, a table? It all depends on imagination and patience. Every year, the idea of a hotel where the entire staff
no.
consists of robots seems
I wouldn't
less
be
and
going
less
there.
fantastic. But Japan was the first to try it, of course, and Hena Hotel was founded there.
They gonna pull up after.
Welcome to the Henan Hotel.
Here, robots check guests in, deliver their luggage to their rooms, help them unpack their things, support simple conversations. Most of all, I like the fact that an Actroid girl speaks Japanese here. But those who prefer English will have to communicate with the
With the
dinosaur.
dang
And frankly,
T-Rex.
that raises a lot of questions. We'll see you soon.
Hey man, it's a lot of stuff we didn't know. If you found something new, leave it in the comments, man. Hey, y'all sub. Let's get to 20, gang. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Deuce.